with Thomas and Hutton for limited construction administration on the Cedar Stone Park restroom project. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. The town requested a proposal for limited construction admin for service on the restroom project, which is later down your agenda. Thomas and Hutton gave us a proposal. You can see the fees down there in the construction phase. Part of it was $20,025 time and expense for RFIs, and any reimbursable expenses are $3,000 and $1,000. And those are allowances, so you only pay what you use there. And they designed it. They have good knowledge of the park and have a survey and everything. So I'm comfortable with them. The town, some of our staff will be involved. Obviously, the building will be inspected by our codes department, and then the utilities by respective utility departments out there.
Questions for Mike on this? Okay, we'll move on to item 3, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a renewal contract with Solitude Lake Management relative to the annual maintenance for the pond at the J.J. McWilliams Old Rock School Park.
Yes, ma'am. The summary is basically Solitude is in this business, and they do it better than we do as far as maintaining the vegetation in that pond and keeping the pump running, that type of thing. So they service that monthly, and the annual cost is $2,328 or $194 a month. It did go up just a tad from the year before, but we're happy with them. I talked to staff today, and they'd like to continue using them to maintain that pond.
Questions on Solitude? Okay, we'll add that to the agenda. And item 4 is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a contract for the replacement of the storm-damaged Splashtown Food Court canopy.
That's a lot.
It is.
But now you know where it's at, so
That's
that's
right.
a good thing. The canopy in the back is probably 25 years old. Last year during the storm, during the season or right before the season, it was damaged from wind. And obviously, we weren't going to do anything with it until the season was over and go into this season. So we've got 3 quotes. I've included those in your packet. And we want to sign a contract with the covered patio to do the work. They were under $25,000 to do the work and replace it. It is an insurance claim, and the insurance money's already been put in the town's coffers, and I want to make sure you're aware of that. And hopefully we can get this done if the materials come in before the season. If not, we'll just wait till after the season and get it done.
Questions for Mike on this? Okay, we'll add that to the agenda. Move on to item 5, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with Beach Construction Services for the construction of a restroom building and associated utilities at Cedar Stone Park. Mike?
Yes, ma'am. The bids for the restrooms and associated utilities were accepted on Thursday, February 2nd, 2023. We had 5 contractors bid the project. Beach Construction Services appears to be the lowest responsive bidder here, and they're actually here in town. The project includes 929 square feet of a restroom building, includes a family restroom, which matches the actual building would match the concession/restroom building in the complex. A major part of this project, more than the building, not just the building, is some of the grading, but the utilities. There's not any utilities really near that area, so we have to catch a manhole for the sewer line, which is about 460 feet away, and you know what we're digging through out there. Then electrical lines about 275, and then we've got some ADA access and things like that that'll be put in with the building itself. We did do an alternate bid with just a pressure line for sewer. It was not a whole lot of difference. We really don't want that, so we're going to go with a gravity sewer on that project. We recommend Beach Construction Services. They're out on Huntley Industrial Drive. We've used them for concrete before, but never for a building. So you can see in the recommendation letter from Thomas and Hutton that they did their diligence there to make sure that we were comfortable with what we're getting here.
Questions for Mike on the construction of the restroom? Okay, move on to item 6, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute Sam Ridley and Weekly Lane water improvements, change order number 1. Mike?
Yes, ma'am. So on the Sam Ridley Weekly project, the field conditions didn't match the GIS mapping. So once Cleary started digging there, these are additional fittings and appurtenances that we need to put in there to make this work the correct way where we won't have any issues with it in the future.
Questions for Mike on this? Add that to the agenda. Item 7 is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a professional services proposal with MMS for the FOG, the Fats, Oils, and Grease Inspection Program.
Yes, ma'am. This is actually year 2, but in year 1, we did some ordinance work and had the management plan done. So this is basically for the inspections. It includes follow-up inspections and non-compliant stuff that they will deal with for us, and of course, the web-based database software.
Questions for Mike on fats, oil, and grease? Seeing none, we'll put that on the agenda and move on to item 8, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute state revolving loan application authorizing resolution for an increase in loan amount based on the bids for the water line replacement project along Sam Ridley Parkway and Weekly Road.
Yes, this is an additional SRF loan for this project. We were approved for the first one. The bids came in higher. This will be $1.1 million for 20 years, and the interest rate's 3.1%.
Questions for Mike on this? It's always nice to get those SRF loans.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, item 9 is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a change order with TM Partners for additional schematic design services related to Fire Hall 4 on Jefferson Pike. Hey, Tom.
Hello, thank you, Mayor, Council. Yes, we have an agreement with TM Partners to design for Fire Hall 4. Originally, we had anticipated the project to be on a certain location, a certain lot, and then found out later we were getting a different piece of property, so they had to redo some of the initial site layout work on it, and that's what that change order represents.
Questions for Tom or Brian on this? Okay, we'll add that to the agenda and move on to item 10, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with TDOT to extend the completion date for PIN 117493, the ITS Phase 1 and 2, to complete the reimbursement request.
We have a final reimbursement request to go in, do some additional work that TDOT asked us to do. The work's been completed, but we're now beyond our completion date, so this is just a contract to extend that completion date to give us the opportunity to ask for reimbursement on it.
Will we be talking about ITS forever? Probably.
I hope so. We do have the notice to proceed to construction on Phase 3, 4, and 5, which we've only waited about 1.5 years on that, but it's out to bid, and we'll be talking about that again for about another year.
Great.
Yes,
They
ma'am.
consist of what?
Pardon me?
3, 4, and 5 consist of what?
It is along Lowry Street, basically south of Lowry Street, part of Nissan Drive and Lee Victory, part of Amival Road, and all the traffic signals along those routes, as well as several signals along Old Nashville Highway. And then there's,
Basically, what that does is put the cameras up there and the ability to control the
Yes.
signals.
yeah, be able to control the signals. It will complete all of our traffic signals on the system, and we'll add 10, we have currently 9 traffic cameras. We'll have 10 more traffic cameras with this one.
I think we were talking about this before you even came to work here, because I think I remember Jerome up at our retreat giving us an
Yes.
overview of it.
Yes.
So it's been a little while.
But you know, Maria, that's kind of like the downtown project. We were talking about that for a long time.
Absolutely,
And
and
we're
it's
just
gonna
that
be
far
worth
from
it.
finishing it, right, Tom?
That's right.
I don't know about that one. That's not my project. That was Charles. If he wants to come up and answer that, you can feel free to answer questions about that.
So
Here comes the bus.
we call that job security is what we call it. The ITS project is job security. Okay, item 11, approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute change order number 3 for the Fire Hall number 1 building expansion project.
Yes, Mayor, Council, this is the current Fire Hall 1. We're adding the sleeping quarters to it. When we went through the State Fire Marshal's office, he requested several changes to it where we had to do some additional work on the project. So that's what this change order represents, is some additional. That's a tankless water heater to be installed, and several things to do with mechanical, electrical, plumbing that I I probably couldn't describe if on my best day.
So, question on this. I know that there were some issues in regards to design, and is any of this amount, is it any of the costs being shared?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. We will move on to item 12. Just know that does not make me very happy.
I don't think it makes a lot of folks very happy.
Okay. Item 12, approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute the contract agreement with Wiser Consultants LLC for the design of the Rock Springs Road Bridge over Harts Branch.
Hi, Mayor and Council, and just update on Lowry, we finished paving today. So we'll be striping it out next week. And check the lights on the way out tonight, because Middle Tennessee Electric said they got partial energized today, and they should finish that tomorrow. So
Great.
we're getting there. But this project here, this is for Wiser Consultants to design repairs and modifications to the existing bridge over Harts Branch there. And the modification is adding a 5-foot sidewalk on one side of the bridge, and this will be part of Tom's sidewalk project from Division down to Mason Tucker Drive.
Question for Charles on this?
How old's that bridge?
I'm not sure on that one, it's what the age is on it. It's maybe 1955. I think that's when a lot of them were in there, about 1955 when it was built,
No, it's newer than that.
so.
I mean, I remember when it had a wooden plank bridge over it.
Yeah.
so
So I'll have to.
I'm not quite that old. you know.
Yeah,
Sounds like you're old.
I'll have to.
No.
I'll have to check my dates on that one.
55, how old are you?
Yeah, I'll have to go back and check the date on that one when,
But it's still in good shape though, right?
yeah, it has a crack in the wing wall that was flagged by TDOT on their last inspection, and this came at a good time to add that sidewalk, cut off the 2 rails, because right now there's just a 3-foot curb on it for sidewalk. So we'll take 2 foot off one side, add it to the other to get us a 5-foot sidewalk across the bridge and make that sidewalk connection.
Sounds good.
We'll also share the vision for that complete circle of sidewalks as we do this with the developers, and then from Old Nashville Highway, that full
Right, this will
segment.
start at Division Street, right there up on Front Street. It will go down to David Collins, where it will cross across the street at the Methodist Church there and go along that side. And then it'll connect to other apartments, townhomes, and Harts Branch townhomes that they've already put in their sidewalk. So this will complete the gaps in the sidewalk all the way to Mason Tucker.
Great. Questions for Charles on this? Okay, we'll move on to item 13. Approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute the contract agreement with Wiser Consultants LLC for the construction, engineering, and inspection services for the Tridon Bridge replacement project.
Yes, Mayor, this is for the inspection services for the Tridon Bridge project, which is later on in the agenda.
Questions on this?
Are we just going bigger, or is it in bad shape?
This one's been rated to 5 tons, so it's needed, and plus with the additional 3 warehouses going in on Tridon Drive, it needs to be upgraded, because right now they're having to go out the other entrance. So we're close to that bridge being closed, so hopefully we'll get it started in construction in May.
We able to get any state money through that bridge fund? I know they weren't sure what bridges were going to be allowed to get money through TDOT.
This one's not on the federal aid system, so
Okay.
it doesn't qualify for any of those funds.
Okay.
So, but I'm looking at possible grant funds, but they're limited, they're mostly for county. So once we get it under construction, we'll reapply. I've already applied for it, but we'll see if we can get the grant accepted for that.
Great. Okay, item 14, approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute the supplemental agreement with Gresham Smith for design of the Sam Ridley Parkway at Old Nashville Highway intersection improvement project.
This is just a supplemental request for additional service for the design of the intersection improvement. Local programs has added different additional requirements, so this is for them to finish it out. We have already received our utility certification, and our notice to proceed to our utilities work orders have already been sent out so they can start moving utilities ahead of the project.
Remind us timeline on this project.
Right now, we're finished, we've got our utilities, we'll be finishing it up, and then we'll ask for our notice to proceed to construction. Earliest will be August, but as with the ITS project, you never know exactly when they will grant your funding for it. But that's when we should be ready with our plans, and all of our certifications will be into teed up by that time.
Okay. Okay. Item 15, approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute the contract agreement with Brown Builders Incorporated for the construction of the Tridon Bridge replacement project.
Now, this is for the contractor to replace the Tridon Bridge. We had two bidders. Brown Builder was the lowest responsive bidder. Like I said, this is will be a new 90-foot bridge. It'll be a 37-foot roadway, which will have 11-foot shoulder. That way, trucks coming out of Tridon, they can make the turn without having to go into oncoming traffic.
Questions for Charles on this? Okay. Item 16 is consideration and approval for a list of surplus items to be sold online auction, at the online auction through GovDeals. Hey, Rex.
Hi, Mayor.
How are you?
Council. Doing good, thank you.
Great.
In your packet is a list of surplus items that we would like to sell at auction. The list includes town vehicles and some tools that have been removed from service. The auction will be advertised in the Murfreesboro Post, on our website, and Channel 3. And all surplus items will be sold through GovDeals, an online auction company. Quite a few vehicles in there this time.
Great. Questions for Rex on this? Okay, we'll move on to item 17, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a lease renewal with T-Mobile South LLC relative to the Sam Griffin Road cell tower site. Jeff?
Yes, Mayor and Council. This is a renewal of an existing lease that has been in effect since 1996 there at Sam Griffin Road with our tower. As you can see, it had been going from month to month for quite some time. We've been trying to work out some facility preservation issues with utilities so that they can handle any changes to the apparatus that they want to put on there from the cell company. But we believe that everybody's on the same page now, and this would renew in 5-year increments, so up to 25 years.
Questions for Jeff on the T-Mobile agreement? Okay, we'll add that to the agenda and move on to 18, which is consideration of an ordinance amending municipal code Title 12 and Title 14, and this is a first reading.
Yes, Mayor and Council. The credit goes to Todd Spearman and Jason King for working on this. Most of this is going to be some housekeeping items in Chapter 9. Previously, it had shown that the building official reported to the town planner. We have not operated that way for quite some time. It clarifies it's under the town manager. Also, further clarifies the responsibilities of the codes department, just with a little bit more clarity instead of the general ambiguous terms. In addition, as we've been talking about Chapter 10, the Construction Board of Adjustments and Appeals, I know that Todd has been working hard to get that board filled as well. And some of the changes in here are just to further clarify. It's not going to notice any sweeping changes, but just to further clarify from the way that it was written before, so it's a little bit more understandable to the reader, and also for those that want to appeal. It allows a tenant, not just an owner, to make those appeals, which makes a lot of sense because there may be an owner off in another state or somewhere like that. So if you have any questions about it, I'd be happy to try to answer those, but that's what you have before you there.
Questions for Jeff on these changes, on any of it? Okay, Then we'll move on to item 19, which is consideration of a resolution relative to a plan of services for property located on tax map 73, parcels 13.00, 13.01, 13.03, 13.04, and 16.00, and tax map 54, parcel 57.02. Kevin?
Afternoon, Mayor and Council. Yeah, this is the plan of services for the annexation request, which is the next item on the agenda. It's for several tracts of land, just as you stated. The town would be providing all services for this annexation upon the effective date, except for water, which would be provided by Consolidated Utility District. The Planning Commission did review this and did recommend approval. Staff would also recommend approval.
Questions for Kevin on this?
Kevin, were you able to go and check the signs?
Yes, yeah, we made sure we got the signs up. We also, the one particular owner, the one that you were concerned about, kind of in the middle there, is actually an LLC in Hempstead, New York. So we weren't able to reach out to them by phone, but they have, we do know they were mailed a letter, so we did the best we could on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, then we'll move on to item 20, which is the consideration of an ordinance relative to the annexation and PRD zoning of property located on tax map 73, parcels 13.00, 13.01, 13.03, 13.04, and 16.00, as well as tax map 54, parcel 57.02, requested by Matt Huff with Gamble Design Collaborative on behalf of the 6 property owners containing 67.68 acres. The property is located on Rocky Fork, Gambleville Road, and Briley Road, and this is a second reading. Kevin?
Yes, this is the annexation and zoning request. This is for a PRD. It's for 212 single-family lots. There would be 210 new houses. 2 of the existing houses that are on the property would remain as a part of the development. We did, as a staff, and Planning Commission did concur as part of the annexation that about 300 feet of the right-of-way of Rocky Fork Elmville Road and about 1,285 feet of the existing right-of-way of Briley Road would be annexed as well as with this request. The houses within the development would range from just under 2,200 square feet to about 3,000 square feet. They meet all of our requirements with regards to setbacks and parking and open space and those types of things. There are 3 access points shown to Rocky Fork Elmville Road, 1 access point to Briley Road, and they have 4 streets stubbed to adjoining properties, including one to the proposed Linwood development, which is at the far southern tip of this project. The Planning Commission did recommend approval with 3 conditions. One, that a traffic study is required. Any improvements recommended by that study must be completed by the developer. The required width of Briley Road is 24 feet, and that the development would be required to upgrade the road to at least that width, which may require additional right-of-way to be dedicated. And they had shown the residential driveways only 16 feet, and they would need to widen those to 18 feet to meet our requirements. Again, Planning Commission did recommend approval. Staff would also recommend approval.
Questions for Kevin? Okay. Item 21 is our consideration of a resolution and memorandum of ordinance 23-10 relative to the annexation and PRD zoning of property located on tax map 73, parcels 13.00, 13.01, 13.03, 13.04, and 16.00, as well as tax map 54, parcels 57.02. We'll put that on the agenda. Move on to item 22, which is consideration of an ordinance relative to the rezoning of property located on tax map 54, parcels 8.05 and 19.00 to go from R3 to PRD, requested by O.N. Jose. The property requested to be rezoned contains 77.1 acres and is located on Rocky Fork, Amberville Road, and this is a second reading. Kevin?
Yeah, this is a PRD request for 84 single-family lots and 26 townhomes. All houses within the development would be developed under the Housing for Older Persons Act. CUD has indicated there is adequate fire flow for residential development in this area. Sewer would be extended from Westover. The minimum single-family size would range from basically 1,500 to 2,900 square feet. The townhouses would range from 1,700 to 2,400 square feet. All requirements of the town would be met with regards to parking and setbacks, et cetera. Access would be from Rocky Fork Allenville Road at 2 locations, with one stub street to the west. The Planning Commission did review this, did recommend approval with 3 conditions. One, that a traffic study is required. Any improvements would be required to be completed by the developer. They had a note within the development that had, or on their plans that they needed to revise on note 1, so we did include that as a condition. Number 3, the fire department did have some concerns regarding maneuvering the truck through the cul-de-sacs and the roundabout, so we need to ask them to provide details on the truck used on their auto turn and revisions to the design may be needed to accommodate the changes to allow for that to have the truck to traverse the area. So again, Planning Commission recommended approval and staff would also recommend approval.
Questions for Kevin on this one?
Have you seen that fire study yet? Have they provided the details on that?
We
yet?
don't have any revised
Not yet.
drawings yet, no.
Okay.
Other questions? Okay, we'll move on to item 23, which is consideration of an ordinance amending the text of the Smyrna Municipal Zoning Ordinance, Article 9, floodplains, and this is a second reading. Kevin?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is a complete replacement of the existing Article 9 floodplains. There's not a lot of substantive changes, but there are several changes scattered throughout the ordinance, and so it was easier to just do a complete replacement. This would essentially adopt, in addition to revising the ordinance, it would adopt the new flood maps effective. They will be effective on May 9th of this year. This is the first new maps we've had in about 15 years, so we're glad to get those. The town would still require the minimum floor elevations for residences to be at least 3 feet above the flood level. Non-residential structures at least 1 foot above the flood level, which is actually a little bit extra over and above what FEMA requires, which is what the town has done for many years. We would want to continue that. The Planning Commission did review this, to recommend approval, and staff would also recommend approval.
Questions for Kevin on the flood maps? Okay, we'll put that on the agenda and move on to item 24, which is consideration of an ordinance amending the text of the Smyrna Municipal Zoning Ordinance, Article 4, Section 4.030G regarding mobile food vendors, and this is a second reading. Kevin?
Yeah, this is a text amendment to the zoning ordinance. This is something council had talked about several times, and so this would just put in place a couple of changes. One, that any food service business which has a brick and mortar location within the town would be exempt from the payment of a fee for a mobile food vendor fee. Still have to get the permit and comply with all of our requirements, but would not have to pay that fee. And then also would allow for a business to obtain a one-day permit instead of paying for that annual permit. The Planning Commission did review this, did recommend approval, and staff would also recommend approval.
Questions for Kevin on the changing of the food trucks? Okay, we'll add that to the agenda. And we'll move on to item 25, which is discussion relative to implementing term limits on the town boards and committees. And this is one that I asked to be brought up just based on the number of individuals that we're having to put in to serve on boards and committees. In the past, we've not always had that luxury. In the past, sometimes I think we're on the phone begging and pleading for somebody to put in an application to serve. And I think we need to give as many people an opportunity to serve on our boards and committees as we can. And so I asked for us to be able to have a little discussion. Amber and Casey put together a boards and terms for council workshop. And Jeff, do you want to go over this, or how do you want to do that?
I would be happy to, if that's what you'd like.
That would be great.
All right, the first set of boards that we have are mainly created within our ordinances with the town code. The first one is the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, which is under Title II, Chapter 2. The appointment terms are 2 years, and the term limit is a total of 4 years, so 2 terms with that one. The next one, Title II, Chapter 4, Project Assistance Board. It is 3-year terms, and there is no term limit. With the Title II, Chapter 5, Sister City Committee, there's the term is for 3 years, and the term limit is for 2 consecutive terms. It says years there, but it should say term. Title II, Chapter 6, Historic Zoning Commission, is for 5-year terms, and there are no term limits at this time. With the Charity Assistance Fund Board under Title II, it is appointed term is 3 years. There's no term limits on that board at this time. The Memorial Maintenance and Special Projects Subcommittee, the appointment for citizen members is 2 years, and there's no term limit. I don't know that we have any citizens on that board at this moment, but it's just an option that you have with that board. Also, Sister City Funding Committee, likewise, for citizen members, it is 2 years with no term limit. On to the next page, you've got the Beer Board. The term is for 4 years, and those members may only serve 2 terms, or a total of 8 years. With the Packaged Liquor Board, those are also 4 years and limited to 2 terms, or a total of 8 years. Under Title 12, Chapter 10 of the Construction Board of Adjustments and Appeals that we just spoke of, there's a 3-year terms, and there's no term limit currently with that as it stands today. And then under the Stormwater Advisory Committee, those are 2-year terms and no term limits with the Stormwater Advisory Committee. The next group that you'll see they're enacted either by articles of incorporation or in concert with the Tennessee Code statute. And so you've got the Smyrna Airport Authority, and its appointed term is for 5 years. There's nothing within the articles of incorporation that place any type of a term limit. Obviously, the council with any of these would be able to appoint someone at any time when the term is up, but there's just no limit there. And likewise, under Smyrna Housing Authority, it is 5 years. It's also a statutorily created board. The Smyrna Library has appointed term as 2 years and 2 term limit, and then there must be a 3-year break per the statute after
Jeff,
2 terms.
what is the Smyrna Library Board?
Well, sorry.
Are you talking about the Rutherford County
Yeah,
Library
yeah,
Board?
that's what I
Okay,
meant.
because my understanding was there was only a 1-year break, but I'll check with them.
Sure. The research that I have, that I read in the statute at least, was that it was,
Okay, I was just making sure it wasn't like a leftover board from before we were in Rutherford County
Right.
system.
right, no, I named
Okay,
it.
so
that.
you're talking about the system,
Yes.
okay.
And then we have the Smyrna IDB, which is created by 753-204, and it is appointed for 6 years, and there are no term limits under the statute with that. We have the Planning Commission. The appointed term obviously is 2 years with that. There's no term limits spoken of in the TCA. And likewise with the Board of Zoning Appeals, it is 3 years, and there are no term limits that are addressed within the TCA for that board either.
Okay. I guess I initially would like to talk about all the boards that are on the first page and the 4 boards prior to the ones that are set by articles of incorporation. 4 of those boards are already have term limits in that they can serve 2 terms. I would really like for us to consider the rest of those boards having a 2-term limit other than historic zoning, and historic zoning's already 5 years to begin with, and if you gave them 2, you're gonna be giving them 10 years. So what if that one stayed at one term, but the others were 2?
That's what I was gonna ask. Do we know why some of these terms why they vary so much? 2, 3, 4, 5? different years?
I don't know that I can.
Right.
Just set up that way up because
Because
they
I
are part of
was,
the ordinance.
my initial thought was, if we're gonna change it, why not change them all to the same 3 or 4 year term and then 2-term limit, and that way everything's the same.
And I think you could do that with all of those that are in the
That top.
non-statutory or articles. I
Yeah.
think you could do that with any of those that you'd like.
It just seems like it'd make it easier for all of us if all of our boards are the same term and the same number of terms.
What does that do when they're how would that work when they're currently serving? And do you know what I mean? That they,
What we did when Sister City enacted was the current term they were in acted as their first, even if they were already on their 3rd or 4th term, because the rules changed essentially. We said the term you're in is your first term, and you now have, 2 terms before you have to roll off, which is why we were just seeing that effect.
Right.
Even though we put it in 4 or 5 years ago, we just saw the effect.
and that's, I understand that part, but what about the part of taking it from rather than being 2-year terms to, if we go across the board 3-year terms, how do we make that right so that they're staggered, so not everybody's rolling off at the same time? Do you see what I mean?
I think the only way that you do that is like what we do when we initiate a board, is the next time you start appointing, you're probably going to have to do, somebody gets a year, somebody gets 2 and 3, or however many you do, until that's caught up. So that you have a certain number rolling off each year, not the whole board leaving it at one time.
I mean, Brian, how do you and Jeff feel about pretty much the same number of years for each board?
I think it makes it easier for us to control from the standpoint of just going through the process. The only thing I would say is, one of the things I think on Sister City we did, and I'd like to see us, when we do the term limits, the caveat would be, let's say you're serving a 3-year term and you have it's a 3-year term and you can serve 2 terms. Could we add something in there like we did with Sister City that says, if we have someone qualified that applies to serve on that board, if not, then we could, if somebody wanted to stay on the board, allow discretion to keep them one more term or something like that. But I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, this year we had more applications in the 5 years that I've been here. That's the most I've ever seen. And I think what we want to try to do is give everybody a chance that's qualified to serve on these boards to have the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, I think we probably, just what you said, the same thing on all of them. If a qualified applicant has applied, then they would be considered, and if not, then we can reappoint whomever's on there. And I don't even know if we want to limit it to, they can be reappointed one time, because I'd rather have someone who served a couple of times than have an open spot. And so as long as there's not another candidate wanting it, then we can reappoint previous candidates, even though they've already expired their terms.
And I would agree, we was talking about what's the time. I think, once somebody rolls off of a board, they ought to at least have 1 year, and then they could be eligible to come back on at
That was gonna be my next
Yeah,
question.
I think that's a fair number, just to give that break, to give some people a chance to serve, so.
Yeah,
And I'd
so-
like to see the language consistent across every board, that,
It would help us from managing when we have to not, get people to apply and those kind of things. It really would
think
make that a
that-
little more cohesive.
I think the Sister City is the only board that I can think of that has some time constraints related to their activities. Since we do the exchange program, and it's like every other year, so I think we'd want to pick a number that makes it work
But
for
they're
that.
on a 3 and
Yeah.
3, so I think we could, if we wanted to, we could take them all to a 3-year term. The ones that are 5, bring them down, the ones that are 2, bring them up.
Yeah.
And just advertising that way. And it does become the magic of math as you make the transition from the current process to the new process. It's just something we'll have to, go through that one time or twice to get back to a norm.
well,
So,
and I
but
think,
it's-
to me, 3 years is a good number. It takes you a year to kind of get over that learning curve, and then you're kind of in your groove, and then your 3rd year, you can kind of decide, do I really want to apply for another 3 years to serve 6 years or not? So, to me, I think 3 years is a nice number, and that means somebody could serve 6 years.
Yeah, I like it. So 2 consecutive terms with a 1-year break is what we're saying? And then 3 years across the board for a term?
do you want to say 1-year break, or do we want to use the language that we used with Sister City that said,
In the absence of a qualified applicant, may be reappointed.
yes?
Yeah, but I mean, your structure would say it's 3-year terms with up to 2, and then a 1-year break, unless we meet that criteria. I'd go ahead and put it in as part of the generalization of the term.
Okay.
And then it's our discretion, based on the applicants, that we might want to keep somebody or ask somebody to continue for another term. And that would be kind of the mayor and the council's discretion to do that.
And,
I think that's important. You know, we could have another year where there's a COVID or something like that, and now we've got half our board rolling off, and we need to have the discretion to just say, we're gonna just reappoint you.
yeah. How are we going to handle, I understand with the numbers, but how are we going to handle, remind me what we did with Sister City?
Well, I think
In regards
probably
to-
time-wise, this is not a bad time because we're coming into our new board. And I know Jeff's going to be doing some training with the boards on Robert's rules and stuff, and we can just share with them that, this is because of so many people applying, we want to make sure people have a chance to serve. And we appreciate how, they are willing to serve, but we've got to make sure that everybody gets a fair shake and a fair chance. So I think it's a good timing to just bring that to the forefront as we start these new board. And as we go to each of the boards, their first meeting, we can share with them, kind of what we're doing.
It seems like you should, and I mean, there may be a little bit of delay, but you should be able to, like everyone coming on now comes on for 3 years. And then next year, when your current term is up, the next term is a 3-year term. And that way you don't have to actually go change.
Yeah, we'll have to change the
So
code.
they'll get one more term.
The
What you're
current-
saying
their
is,
current
if
term.
they'll finish their current term,
Yeah.
and then everybody gets one more term, and then that's considered it.
Yes, ma'am. And I think, one thing to keep in mind, we've got to change this because this is part of our code, so we'll have to change that and formally vote on it. But
Right,
we can share with them that this is the direction we're going, so.
okay. Okay, so that takes care of, any other discussion about the ones prior to the Articles of Incorporation? Is everybody good with that, with 2-3-year terms, with language? Okay,
Can I ask a question just to make sure we're all on the same page? Would you like for us to bring this forward? Because this is the pleasure of the council. This is really not staff's recommendation, nor do we vote on this. This would be your, from the council. So would you like for us to make sure that we bring that forward for the changes in the actual ordinance?
yes.
Okay. Is that,
But you say it's not staff's recommendation. Are you meaning you didn't bring it, or are you meaning you don't agree with it?
no, I'm just saying from the standpoint, you asked us to look at this.
Correct.
We've brought you some recommendations, and if this is what you want us to move forward with, I don't want
Yeah.
anybody to misconstrue that this is staff going, make it easier on us.
And-
We'll do whatever you want us to, but this is something the council asked us to look at, and I just want to make sure that we're clear on that.
And tell you what I'd rather do, this is not anything that has to be done immediately. What if you all take back what we've talked about today, put it in written form again, let's bring it back at the next workshop one more time, and let's work out all the kinks as to exactly how we're gonna move forward. And, I don't think it's anything wrong with those that are over boards or committees, as directors or department heads, to go ahead and say they're looking into this, so at least those on boards know. But that way we can make sure we've gotten everything worked out before we implement this. Is that
I think
okay?
it's good.
Yes, ma'am, I just want to make
Okay.
sure that this is the pleasure of the council
Right.
to make these changes.
Okay, so let's look at these more specialized boards that are set by Articles of Incorporation. You've got the Airport Authority, the Housing, the Rutherford County Library Board, which we really have, we don't have any choice in that.
That's what I was gonna say. We don't really have any. Because it's not something we
Right.
decided, right?
So I guess first, are y'all okay with the way Airport Authority and Housing is? To me, those are more specialized than what the other boards are. I don't think just anybody can probably sit on the Airport Authority Board.
As I was about to say, with a 5-year term, it's going to take a year and a half or 2 to get up to speed. If you're new on that body, it's going to take a little bit of time to do it.
I'm okay with leaving those two alone with no term limits if you all are. Okay? And then Industrial Development Board, that one we.
They meet for lunch once a year, basically. I mean, so longer terms don't affect them. I
Right.
mean, there's not a lot for them to have to do.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a normal reactionary board, but when we do need them, we need
It's
to. It's
important,
kind of like
yeah.
what we're doing with this Construction Board of Adjustments and Appeals. It's one that we haven't used in a while, but when we do need it, it's good to have it. So I'm fine with leaving it like it
Okay.
is.
The last two are planning and BZA, and I would like to see us not have term limits on that one. I just think those are also so specialized, but I'm open to discussion on that.
I would agree. I mean, as the chairman of the BZA now for 4 or 5 years, it's tough to get qualified candidates that can kind of get up to speed and affect quickly. So I wouldn't.
Is that within our purview to be able to do that? I mean, those are by the state, so.
That's what we were just talking about. I mean, they are, and I was just asking that, like on the planning commission, right now, appointed term is 2 years, no term limit. Could, for consistency, we move that to a 3-year term, just like we do with the BZA? That would be my only question. I don't think we've got any room to change the criteria, but I think we could add that year. I'd
Tell you what, why don't you put that as a question, and y'all have discussion about it before you bring it back to us?
Well, I put, if you read it right below there, it says that terms of appointed members shall be of such length as specified by the chief legislative body. So that answers it. If you want it
Yeah.
to be 3, then this board can vote for it to be 3.
I'm good with, if y'all are good with 3.
It makes sense
Yep. Okay,
for consistency purposes, yeah.
yep.
And that pretty much gets all of our boards with the other recommendations to 3, except for these on the first page, which are not really the same anyway.
Okay. Questions about this? I really appreciate you all gathering this information for us to look at. I hope this will make things a little bit easier, but also give more citizens an opportunity to serve. So, and that also doesn't mean when somebody has to roll off because of term limits, they can't apply for a different board. They could still continue to serve on a different board. Okay. So plan is, y'all are gonna take notes back from this, bring them back at the next workshop, and we'll have discussion to then put on the agenda for the May meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, Jeff, I know you have something under other.
Yes, Mayor and Council, it's a hard copy there before you. If you recall, in 2021, the council passed a resolution to participate in the Tennessee plan, which is the opioid abatement and related settlements. There's been another class action that the state is allowed to participate in as well. However, they've amended the Tennessee plan so that this second set of lawsuits were able to join in the settlements. And so this resolution before you is the model resolution that the Attorney General's office has asked that each jurisdiction pass if you want to take part in those settlements.
Questions for Jeff on this? It's been a long time coming. We'll put that on the agenda. Okay. Reports. Hal? Nothing? Jeff Craig? No? Tom? Kevin? Rex? Charles? Are you sick? Okay, just checking.
Already got it on the first one.
Okay, good. Carl? Mike? Mike? Chief? Chief? Chief?
I'll say
You're our
what-
chief.
I'll say what everybody over there wants to say, and that's go Vols tonight.
Oh. Amber. Amber.
You gave me the chief hat.
That's right, that's right.
Chief Vol.
There you go. Brian?
Mayor and Council, I do have a couple things I'd like to share with you, just real quick. Want to recognize a gentleman that works in our traffic area back there that runs our control panels and stuff with the lights and stuff. Jonathan Hemingway, his father-in-law passed away this past week, and want to extend our condolences to that family as they've dealt with the death of the father-in-law. Wanted to recognize Jerry Short tonight, but he's not here, but.
He's
Jerry-
watching.
Is he watching?
He is for
Okay.
sure
I just
watching.
wanted to recognize Jerry. As you know, HG, Tim, Jerry, myself are all Rotarians here in town, and Jerry was recognized recently as a Paul Harris Fellow, which is a contribution to the foundation of Rotary, and it's helps with the eradication of the polio virus. That's the number one driver for the Rotary Club. So I want to show appreciation to Jerry. Also wanted to mention our streets department. As you guys remember, about a week and a half ago or so, we had a pretty severe storm come through with some winds that maybe we've not seen in a long time. And those guys have done a really good job of getting out there and getting the brush truck out and moving some stuff. I know there's still some places we've got to get to, and they are working on that, but I just wanted to shout out to the work that they have done. Smyrna Police and Fire participated in the Stewart's Creek Elementary Career Day, and it looks like everybody had a great time doing that. Also, I want to say that Chief Irvin has been working with a couple of his officers to get them more involved in our community events and those kind of things. And they recently participated also in a hiring event with MTSU and had really good results. So appreciate them getting out there and talking positively about Smyrna Police Department. I think they had 20 or 21 that actually asked for information about coming to work at Smyrna, so that's great. Also, I wanted to recognize my colleague, Amber Hobbs over here. As most of you know, Amber has been recognized with VIP Magazine as one of the top 40 under 40, and she represents the town of Smyrna, and congratulations to Amber. Be watching for the April edition. She's going to be highlighted in the magazine. So thank you, Amber, for what you do for the town of Smyrna. Also, Chief Irvin shared with me Alan Neighbors, who many of you know, probably know him better as Brother Man. We got a really nice, Chief got a really nice phone call from the U.S. Attorney Prosecutor, Joe Montemini from Nashville, and this doesn't happen very often, but he called Chief directly to commend Alan on excellent work in a case he is taking to trial in 6 weeks. It involved a string of robberies that he worked last year. I believe the suspect's last name was Ewing. He mentioned the detailed work and how it was made his job much easier to prepare for the trial. So a lot of congratulations to Alan and the work he does for us. And Chief, we appreciate everything y'all do. Just a couple of housekeeping things here. Again, want to remind everybody, we are hiring. The town of Smyrna, if you go to our webpage, you can find a section within the webpage of the listed jobs that we have available at the town of Smyrna. And we still have some openings for police officers, telecommunicators. I think we've got 1 or 2 jobs left at the golf course. So it's an ever-evolving, are we good out there now? Okay. Ever-evolving list of jobs that we have, so take a look. We'd love to have you come and join us and be part of this team. Secondary, hiring lifeguards, head lifeguards, splash pad attendants, the seasonal jobs. Also, it's not on here, but one of the other things that we have that's a seasonal position right now is through our event center. The positions to work the concession stand area back during the pool hours and stuff. Those jobs are available right now. So again, reach out to www.townofsmyrna.org and you'll find those job listings there. It's getting close. We're coming down to the wire on pay your taxes or figure out what you're going to do to hide from the IRS, I guess. I don't know. But we are happy to partner with the United Way again with their VITA program. It's located at the back of our building here at 315 South Lowry Street. They recommend that you contact United Way and make an appointment. And there's several ways that you can get your taxes done. Anyone that has income of less than $70,000, they're available to get their taxes done for free. So I know we're hitting the end of March, and April 15th is that magic date. Also, I'd like to recognize Coffee with the Community. Our sheriff, Mike Fitzhugh, and his staff have been coming into the different communities and having a coffee with the sheriff kind of event. They invited our police force to join them when they were here in Smyrna. So if you keep an eye on Facebook and social media, you might see one of these pop up if you'd like to stop by and visit with our police department or the sheriff's department. And visiting here is Deputy Chief Britt Reed, our Captain Dwyer, Captain Lear, and our own Chief Jason Urban. Staying on the theme of police, I'm very honored to recognize our newest police officers. They've just finished the academy and they're ready to go to work. I won't read all their names, but we recently had a pinning ceremony, so they are actively now out there serving as police officers. And yes, there is an age limit, although it doesn't look like it. Some of them look pretty young, don't they?
They have do they have a driver's license?
Yes, they do all
Gosh, they
have
look
driver's
so
license, and
young.
they are old enough to be able to buy bullets, so.
I did see when we posted this picture, there were quite a few Smyrna High School teachers that were so excited because one must be a Smyrna High School grad. So,
I think so, yeah. Also, during our pinning ceremony, Chief Irvin and his staff put together, I want to say congratulations to Jamie on a promotion to our Smyrna Telecommunications Manager. This is a new position that we have. We have supervisors on each shift, but our department is growing to that level that we need more supervision and to help us get recruitment of work and those kind of things. So Jamie's going to do a great job. She's been with us, I think, about 15 years. 15 or 16 years, I think, and in that department, and does a great job. I told her I was going to give her a hard time because typically when I see her, she's working a third shift and out of work days. I'm hoping she can make that transition out of the nightlife and into the daytime. Also, we had promotion of Lieutenant Patrick Mangrum, and he was pinned with his new lieutenant bars, and he is our shift command on third shift. So welcome and congratulations to both of these folks. Again, the last thing I always leave with is love where you live, folks. I'm not going to harp on it too much tonight. We still have issues with trash. Please be kind and, keep your litter in your car until you get to a trash receptacle. I will point out Arbor Day is coming up April the 22nd. Yeah, so on the 21st, we're asking all of the folks that have Adopt a Highway type programs and those kind of things, and I think, Mike, we're going to be working with the parks again to bring some volunteers into the park and do a day of cleanup around the Arbor Day celebration. So again, love where you live, folks. Take your trash home with you.
just so I don't forget it, a lot of the scout groups that have come, if we can reach out to them, because I know that a lot of them have asked for things that they could do to help the community.
We've
So if
used
we
them in
can
the
reach
past.
out
We have.
and let them know what we're doing, I
Yep.
think that would be great.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Jeff?
Yes, should be pulling it up. Was fortunate enough on Tuesday, Jason King and Heather Kent, and also our County Commissioner Phil Wilson, attended the ribbon cutting at the new Dunkin' Donuts. They're at the corner of 1 Mile and Amilville Road.
I think I see you in there, Jeff.
Are you
Yeah.
raising your hand that you run on Duncan? Is that what you're saying?
That's right, I was proud of Smyrna, so I was just placing emphasis on that.
Gotcha,
And
gotcha.
Heather made a friend while we were there,
Oh,
and so.
nice.
Heather told me he was asking for permission to order a donut. Is that when he had his hand up?
Oh, that's why he had his hand up?
Yes, they called my order.
Former police officer, what do you expect?
That's right.
Wow.
That was Mark Atkins.
That's right. And he drives.
Yeah, sometimes.
But we wish them much success. I believe that's the third Dunkin' in Smyrna. I forgot how many they said in Rutherford County. Was it 8 or 9? Maybe 8.
Wow. Great.
Mayor, could I add one thing that I meant to say? I put a post out today on my personal email or Facebook, and I know Heather has put something out from the town. Folks, you may be seeing these stickers around town that's a QR code that says, scan this to win a trip to Miami. We are not sure who's putting those out. They do not have permission to be put them out. I know there's several been put on town signs, town garbage cans, those kind of things. We're very concerned from our IT department that this is a scam to get into your system and could bring malware and stuff into your phone. So we're recommending do not scan those. And you have our permission to remove those. If they're on your property or something that you own, We're focused with the parks and stuff right now to try to find them, anywhere they're on town property and get rid of them. But I just wanted to remind people, if you see that QR code, I don't think I would take the risk of bringing malware into my phone and stuff.
And if you're putting it out, stop.
Yes, if you're putting it out, stop.
You're the one putting the stickers on. Okay, Jeff, anything else? Raquel?
Yes, congratulations to Amber and congratulations to our new officers and those that have been promoted in the department. And condolences to Jonathan. And lastly, I'm going to read something about the survey that's going on that we're asking people to participate in. So, the Smyrna Arts and Culture Advisory Committee is undertaking a community asset survey, thanks to a grant from the Tennessee Arts Commission. This survey will help us better understand Smyrna's cultural scene, build awareness of our cultural assets, and help us to strengthen, value, and utilize them. Make sure you share the survey with your neighbors and local friends. One lucky person who takes the survey will win a $100 Visa card. We will do the drawing on the May 25th at the May 25th council workshop. So please visit townofsmyrna.org to complete the survey. It takes about 8 minutes to complete, and we would appreciate everyone's participation. Thank you.
You might ought to put it out there as a win a free trip to Miami.
No, we do not want to be associated with a free trip to Miami.
HG?
I don't think we come back before Easter, do we?
We don't.
Do you know it?
We don't. So I want to wish everybody a happy Easter and encourage people to buy your Easter eggs locally. And then also to be kind.
Tim?
Congratulations, Amber. We're very, very proud of you. It's been a busy week. We've had a lot of businesses open, and we continue to do well in trying times, so very thankful for that. And happy Easter to everyone.
Steve?
Happy Easter. Congratulations, Amber. Well deserved. I'm assuming that there's gonna be like billboards and stuff that'll show up now because you're so famous and popular, so, yeah.
She did say May
Chief
25th.
Billboard.
Yeah, May 25th meeting, she'll have some magazines available for her to sign an autograph.
Autographs,
Oh, to autograph.
If
All right.
anybody would like to purchase one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do I need to bring my own Sharpie?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all.
Mark?
Yeah, just real quick, the Gill family had a loss this week. Justin Gill passed away, so want to send our condolences to the Gill family for their loss. Amber, congratulations. We are proud of you, as everybody has mentioned, and we know you work hard, you do a great job, and good to be recognized for what you do. So thank you for that. Chief, to all your officers, thank you. Congratulate all of them for us. We also celebrated yesterday does anybody have that slide on being over at Rayburn Insurance? Because I don't want to.
I do.
Okay, you've got that. I'll leave that alone. So Live Away Suites, we did the groundbreaking on that last week. And you can see all those in attendance there. There's HG, Jerry, Todd, Tim, Rex, and myself. Heather, were you not there? You were there, just didn't make the picture, but
She was probably making the picture.
probably was.
She was making it.
Yeah, we had a good turnout. Some of our county commissioners were there as well to help us groundbreak. That's going to be located right in behind the Life Storage over near Champy's, behind Home Depot. So it's a nice new facility that's on its way to Smyrna. Want to wish everybody happy Easter myself. And going down Lowry Street, thank you, Tom, and everybody for keeping that moving as best you can. And we're excited to see the lights come on. And
It's Charles's project.
Charles.
Tom
Charles.
gets the negative,
Well,
Charles gets the
I'm thanking,
positive.
I'm thanking Tom too, because Tom helped.
Okay.
Charles sat back going, I get all the junk, and
Yeah.
Tom's getting the praise.
Well, there you go, Tom. I'm
Charles,
not even going to look at Charles
I fully understand how
tonight.
you feel. Trust me.
I do want to say to Mike Strange what Amber's already said, go Vols tonight, Sweet 16 game. Happy Easter, everybody. Chief, you've got an Easter egg hunt coming up, I believe, and I probably am stealing her thunder
You
here.
are,
I don't
but
know.
do you want it?
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
All right, and that's all I had.
Okay. So, a couple of housekeeping items. The Smyrna Fire and Police Department Annual Easter Egg Hunt will be Saturday, April the 1st at 1 p.m. at Lee Victory Recreation Park. And I will tell you, if you're there at 1:05, it will be over. So make sure you're there at 1 o'clock. It is. It's for ages 1 to 12, and the Easter Bunny will be there for pictures, and it is sponsored by Smyrna Natural Gas, and our rain date will be April the 8th, but we're not going to have to worry about that because we're going to get it done on April the 1st. Don't forget, the Smyrna Event Center is hosting an Easter buffet meal on Easter Sunday. Reservations will be accepted through March the 31st. You can reserve your spot today by contacting the Event Center at 615-459-4444. And we will be, it's $28.95 for adults. That's tax and gratuity included. And children ages 6 to 12 are $16.95, and 5 and under are free. We'll be having prime rib, ham, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, country-style green beans, macaroni and cheese, carrots, peel and eat shrimp, salad bar with dressed eggs, potato salad, crab salad, slaw, and chicken salad with a plethora of desserts. So it is a great afternoon, and if you leave there hungry, it is absolutely your fault. Okay, SOAC and the Jeff Koos Memorial will be featured in the upcoming Chamber of Commerce Rutherford Magazine publication. I did get an email from the CVB, and that was their header on the CVB. So glad to see Smyrna featured. The 4th annual Top Gun Night Run is scheduled for September the 15th, so mark your calendars and join us for one of our favorite events. The Top Gun Night Run benefits the Jeff Koos Memorial. We don't put any tax dollars towards the memorial. We use the funds that are raised through the night run. I will tell you, we're looking at doing a few different things this year, but if you are interested in participating, you can go ahead and sign up. Also, if you're interested in sponsoring the event, we would love to have you as a sponsor.
Mayor, you might want to remind everybody too, we just found out under the Firefly Awards, you can go online and vote. The Jeff Koos Night Run is actually one of the nominated events, so.
That's right. So vote for the Jeff Koos Night Run. You brought up the Rayburn Insurance 50th anniversary, so congratulations to Rayburn Insurance for celebrating 50 years in business. Quite a few of us were able to attend, but to see what Dub had done starting out of his house 50 years ago was pretty amazing, and the 3rd generation has come on board now to help, and we are so glad that they are part of our community because they're ones that are always willing to give back, and we appreciate them. The last slide that we have tonight is an event that we are helping with. Mid-10 Volleyball is doing an event. It is called Light Up the Night Benefit for Janae Edmonds. And it is going to be Wednesday, April the 5th at Murphy Center at MTSU, and it will start at, doors open at 6. The event will actually start at 6:30. We think it'll probably last about 30 to 45 minutes, and we are encouraging everyone to come out to wear your purple, and if you have something that you can light up in purple on that night, we are asking you to light up for Janae in purple so that we can show her that we're still thinking about her, we're still praying for her, and encouraging her. Few items that I had since we met last. Quite a few of us got to attend the TML conference and met with people from across the state in other cities, and got to hear from quite a few from the legislature as well as our TDOT commissioner, and the governor was there. So it was a nice event, and getting to see people we don't get to see but sometimes once a year. I want to thank Rutherford County Youth Leadership for inviting Brian and I to be a part of their event. I will tell you, those young individuals are some enthusiastic individuals and some pretty motivated individuals. So lots of good things happening with youth leadership. We talked about Rayburn. Did somebody do Raising Cane? No, okay, so are we doing that probably next time? Okay, we'll do that one next time. But congratulations to Raising Cane for their ribbon cutting today. And last but, nope, two other things. Amber, congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
You are a real inspiration to young women, and you are always so helpful to all of us. You're always willing to jump in and do whatever. It's been nice to see you grow in the city and in your position, and I just want to
But
tell
not in
you.
height.
And not height. Well, depends on what shoes you're wearing. But I just want you to know how much I appreciate you and how and what a great job I think you do, not only here but as a mom and what you do outside of work. So thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Heather because she's actually the one who came across the nomination, and she nominated me, so.
You know, it's nice to see women empowering other women, so nice job. Last but not least, I want to wish Mama a happy birthday. Her birthday will be on Monday, so if you see Mama out in town, wish her happy birthday. Anything else? Then we are adjourned.
My mama's going to snake pit.